Just bury me in the ocean with my ancestors that jumped from the ships. Because they knew death was better than bondage.
Blessed are the peacemakers, the true children of the Creator. Profound wisdom is the nature of the true Savior. We prefer the prophets over soothsayers, devils in capes, history's crusaders.
Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draw nigh. And one people shall stand and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into the city, and shall not be able. For because their pride, the city shall be troubled, the house shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with their swords, and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. First and foremost, I want to give infinite praise, infinite honor, and infinite glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem, HaMashiach, Yahushai. So in 2nd Ezra chapter 15, 14 through 19, we see there's a lot of sorrow, there's a lot of death, there's a lot of destruction and fighting among neighbors. It says that destruction draw nigh, and one people shall stand and fight against another. For there shall be sedition among men. Now, sedition means conduct or speech inciting, stirring up people to rebel against the authority of the state or monarch. So the sedition, the stirring up, is going to be people going to be uprising against their governors, their city managers, their leaders in the city, the government. It's going to be all chaos. It's going to be all hell breaking loose. Knowing that this kind of woe or destruction is coming to us, we're going to have to move in wisdom. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time, and strength of salvation, the fear of the Lord is his treasure. So wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability. It's what's going to cause us to be stable. It's what is going to cause us to be firm in that time. When all hell is breaking loose on the earth, we have to move in wisdom in order to be stable. Let's get, what does stability mean? The quality, state, or degree of being stable, such as the strength to stand or endure. So being stable gives you strength to stand and endure hard times. That's what stability will do. That's what wisdom does. It brings stability, allowing you to go through hard times, to endure hard times. It says firmness, the property of a body that causes it, when disturbed from a condition of equilibrium or steady motion, to develop force or movement, moments that restore the original condition. So equilibrium is to help the body balance itself. It's to help the body gain stability. So that's what stability does. It helps you gain balance. It allows you to be firm in your stance. It allows you to endure. And wisdom and knowledge is compared to that. It's compared to stability. So wisdom and knowledge is going to make us firm and steady in those days. Let's get some more on stability. If someone has a stable personality, they are calm and reasonable, and their mood does not change suddenly. So in that time, men and women need to be stable. They both need to be moving in wisdom and in knowledge. And we know the Bible tells us that we're supposed to be temperance and we're supposed to be able to control our emotions. But I want to jump into the wisdom and knowledge that the Bible is always talking about, because some people think the wisdom and knowledge the Bible's talking about is just the regular wisdom and knowledge that the earth and the normal people have. But this is actually uncommon knowledge to the rest of the world. This is the book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse 6. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children. So what knowledge and wisdom is the Bible referring to? It's always referring to the laws of God. This is what we got to keep in mind. The laws of God is what's going to bring us to being stable. Knowing how to treat each other, knowing how to love your brother, knowing who your enemies are, knowing who to trust, who not to trust, knowing how to move in silence, knowing where to hide. This is all due to the knowledge and wisdom of the Bible. The Bible has taught. There's not a lot of people that have a good understanding on what their forefathers and foremothers have done when it comes to an economy collapse. So the Bible goes into giving understanding when the economy collapses, what is supposed to be done, how we're supposed to move. Now, before we go any further, I have a video that I would like to show you all, giving us a good example on how to move in wisdom and how wisdom and knowledge will bring stability to a person.
Do you know how to make a fire?
No.
To clean an octopus. Do you know how to do it?
One for me, one for you, one for me. One for you, one for me.
What's that?
That's mine.
All of this? Why?
I caught the fish.
Yes.
I made the fire.
And?
I cooked. I did all the work. And everybody got something. And maybe that's why you should not be so lazy and dependent on me.
I think you're forgetting that you and I are employees of a big shipping company. You are a toilet manager.
No. In the yacht, toilet manager here. Who am I?
He's the captain.
Yes. Who am I?
Captain.
Who am I?
Captain.
Who am I?
Captain.
In the yacht, cleaning lady here, Captain. Okay?
And that was just a small example on how, if you move in wisdom, what wisdom can do for you. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, 7 through 9. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thine getting, get understanding. Exalt her, and she shall promote thee. She shall bring thee to honor when thou doest embrace her. She shall give to thine head an ornament of grace. A crown of glory shall she deliver to thee. So it starts off by telling us that wisdom is the chief thing we should be going after. Wisdom brings you gifts. It says, exalt her, and she shall promote thee. So when you go into wisdom, the wisdom and knowledge of the Bible, it teaches you how to place things in order, put things in its proper place. What's first? What's most important? It says, exalt her, and she shall promote thee. She shall bring thee to honor. That's exactly what we saw. The cleaning lady was exalted to honor because she promoted wisdom. She knew when tragedy hits, she knew exactly how to deal with things. She knows how to cook. She knows how to start a fire. She knows how to, catch and clean things. That's what you're supposed to do, and that's what we're supposed to know how to do. It says, she shall give thine head an ornament of grace, a crown of glory shall she deliver to thee. So she delivered a crown of glory. What was the glory that she got? She got promoted to captain. She said, in there, cleaning lady, out here, captain. Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 26. The principal thing for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of grapes, and oil, and clothing. So the Bible telling us this is the chief thing. This is the most important thing that we need when we see the economy collapses. We need to know how to cook. We need to know how to get water, clean water, make fire, iron, salt. We need to know how to work with the earth again. We need to know how to not depend on the stores, right? That's a big sign that we are domesticated because we don't know how to deal with Mother Earth. We don't know how to actually make bread from wheat. We don't know how to get milk when we need it from animals, or the blood of grapes, or how to get oil, extract oil from nature. This is a problem that a lot of us fall victim to. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 29 and verse 21. The chief thing for life is water and bread and clothing and a house to cover shame. How many of us know how to gather sticks and make a covering for us if you need it? Covering for yourself, right? How many of us know how to set up a tent? How many of us know how to, again, make bread or make clothing? How do we know how to clean water? That is the principal thing. This is something that chiefly we should know how to do. This is something we know that the Bible tells us that we're going to be pilgrims on the earth. So we're going to be moving from place to place. We're not going to have a house. We're going to have to move from city to city or from countryside to countryside. We're going to be in a wilderness. So needing to know how to operate and work with nature again is going to promote us to honor. Wisdom is going to embrace us because we didn't leave off from knowing these things. This is the book of 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 6 in the NLT. Yet truly godliness with contentment is itself great wealth. So godliness with contentment is itself great wealth. There's a saying that goes that true wealth is knowing how to be happy with very little. True wealth is knowing how to be happy or content with very little. A lot of people get caught up into thinking that they need so much. They think that they need a lot to be happy. They think that they need material to be satisfied. And that's not true. We get caught up in trying to be like the world or living with the Joneses, so to speak, that we forget how to really and truly be happy, how to really truly be satisfied with what the Most High God has given us. Things should not make you happy. You should not depend on material things to make you happy. You should know how to be happy without those material things. And if you don't know how to be happy without material things, then that's a big problem. And you become dependent on those things, which can lead to addictions. And we see that happening all over the world where people are addicted to social media. They feel like they need it to be happy. Verse 7, After all, we brought nothing with us when we came into the world, and we cannot take anything with us when we leave it. And that's very simple and easy to understand. So why try to gain so much material wealth? You're not going to be able to take it with you. And then if you gain so much wealth, so many possessions, you really truly don't know who you're going to be leaving it to. You could leave it to somebody that has that takes things for granted. They take things for granted. So when you give somebody something that they didn't earn, they don't value it. And if they don't value it, then it's nothing to them. They're going to toss it over their shoulders. It was easy to get, so it's going to be easy to lose. Opposed to someone that worked and struggled hard to gain that possession, they're going to value that thing. They're going to watch it closely. Opposed to someone that doesn't value it. They're going to toss it over their shoulder. It's going to be nothing to them. Easy come, easy go. So if we have enough food and clothing, let us be content. But people who long to be rich fall into temptations and are trapped by many foolish and harmful desires that plunge them into ruin and desires. People that win the lottery all of a sudden that didn't really earn it, they suddenly became rich. They fall into temptations. A lot of them end up bankrupt the next year because they didn't work hard for it. It was a quick rich scheme. They didn't earn that. Not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying that a lot of people don't know what to do and they don't value it like they should. And it says, fall into temptations. A lot of them get addicted to drugs and alcohol. They get addicted to gambling, not really appreciating the money that they just came into, and are trapped by many foolish and harmful desires that plunge them into ruin and destruction. And that's how they just end up being bankrupt the next year. I heard a story where a guy he won the lottery and he was damn near bankrupt the next year because he didn't know. He just made bad business decisions back to back to back to back. It was like every business decision, he didn't educate himself. He thought money was the answer. Just because he had money, he thought that he could just throw money at the problem and it would fix itself. And that wasn't wise. He didn't move in wisdom. Verse 10, for the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. And some people, craving money, have wandered from the true faith and pierced themselves with many sorrows. So having money isn't going to fix all of your problems. They wandered away from the true faith, the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Bible, not knowing that it's better to give than to receive. They wandered away from the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Bible, so they lost overall. They ended up in the same position that they were when they started, or worse. A lot of times it is worse. It's in a worse position when they start. And that's why it says, pierced themselves with many sorrows. So there's multiple sorrows that they pierced themselves. I mean, the stories of people coming into money real fast and not moving in wisdom, they have pierced themselves with many sorrows. It's endless. right? The endless stories of how bad people have been done, people have died, people have went into bankruptcy. I heard a story where a guy, won the lottery and again, just making bad business decisions, ended up bankrupt a few years later. I was thrown away by how someone can do that. And the Bible tells us it's because they don't move in wisdom. And again, it's not just the wisdom of the world, but the wisdom of the scriptures. The scriptures tell us and teaches us how we're supposed to move, teaches us how we're supposed to deal with one another, we're supposed to take care of one another. So in conclusion, we need to get wisdom and knowledge of the scriptures on how to be stable when the economy collapses. And I cannot stress enough, brotherly love, sisterly love. Brotherly love, sisterly love. Knowing how to love one another. It sounds so cliche, maybe. It sounds cliche to like, oh yeah, brotherly love, sisterly love, but the scriptures actually tell us how to love one another. And I didn't notice at all until I came into the wisdom, knowledge of this truth on how to deal with our brothers and sisters, how to deal with one another, how to treat one another. I can't treat my brother and sister the same way I treat the other nations, right? So we need to really learn how to love our neighbor. First, we need to know who our neighbor is, and then deal with them accordingly, according to the scriptures. So some of these things sound simple, but when you get into the word, you actually see what wisdom is teaching us, what the Most High God is teaching us. He's teaching us how to really take care of one another, how we're supposed to view or look at one another. That my brother and my sister, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, have a higher value than other nations. They have a higher value. They mean more. They're more important. But the thing is, the trick is that just because they blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians don't mean that they should receive all the benefits. What do I mean by that? I mean that you got some blacks, Hispanic, Native Indians that are worse, just as worse, if not worse, than the other nations because their mindsets have not changed. They don't know who their forefathers and their foremothers are. So they act like the other nations. I'm talking about the brothers and sisters that know to keep the laws of the Most High God and having faith in Christ. These things are important. These things are valuable. So don't let, just because they, are so-called blacks, African Americans, Hispanics, and Native Indians, don't let that fool you. They need to be keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. Don't judge according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment, right? And you can, if you understand that scripture, the Bible, it tells you you're supposed to judge according to appearance because that's how you tell who an Israelite is and who isn't. Their spirit shows that they're not going to conform to this world. They're going to conform to the Bible. They're going to obey the Most High God overall. So with that, get into the scriptures, get into this Bible, this word, and find out what the Most High God is really wanting for us when all hell breaks loose, knowing how to survive the collapsed economy and how to deal with one another and what to look out for and what to do and what not to do. So I'm going to give infinite praise, infinite honor, and infinite glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem, Mashiach, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.